What's up guys, welcome back for another Yugioh Pro Duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup. Another match here in the top 8 on the right side, so the winners bracket. Both these decks already won a match in the top 16 playoffs, so now they're both in the top 8. First of all, we have Infernities from 2014, Xyz Infernity from Sehabi, right, decklist from Worlds. Yeah, indeed, should be indeed the decklist from Worlds. Pretty straightforward, I guess, but the biggest weakness I felt, especially after this particular match of the deck, is the extra deck. Well, I mean, Xyz Infernity is a super explosive deck, but definitely has I think its main weakness being the extra deck here. Okay, it does have like access to double Evolve Chain, double Xyz as well, but it misses a powerhouse. While if I'm looking at a deck list like ABC's, as you know, ABC, this is not really the more common ABC version. This is the brilliant version, and okay, it's of course a very powerful list, has access to Northern, but it still might be a bit bricky with those 44 cards, so it's, I guess, the biggest weakness of this deck. Then again, it could be also the powerhouse. Again, Brilliant Fusion doesn't need an introduction, right? So yeah, before I was like, so which deck has the advantage? I felt that ABCs should have the slight advantage over Infernity. Then again, a deck that pretty much goes first, and I'm looking at both decks. Both decks have the advantage if they're going first, that can like prevent your opponent from playing the game, like Infernities with Infernity Barrier and multiple breaks to interrupt an opponent's plays, or any of your opponent's plays. Same for Mystical Space Typhoon on a field spell, or Brilliant Fusion or whatever. While I'm looking at ABCs, if they're going first, they're making one of the best traps, I guess, especially here in the Cross-Banlist Cup series, and that's Dimensional Barrier. And you know, if you're looking at like a deck that is Xyz Infernities, activating Dimensional Barrier definitely puts them back one turn, and that's something that Infernity here, this particular deck list from 2014, cannot really, well, recover from, right? So the Infernity Barrier definitely comes in handy, negating the, what's it called? Yeah, the Brilliant Fusion, but having the Infernity Barrier in the graveyard makes it a direct target to banish off of the Infernity Break. Although the Dimensional Barrier indeed is going to get chained due to or against, you know, as an... well, basically against Evolve Chain, so not really, no, indeed. Of course, yeah, Dimensional Barrier, right? But again, no follow-up plays. Normal summoning the Necromancer wouldn't, you know, make much sense. But ABCs is left top decking, and in that case, it's not really that strong. Then again, you know, they can definitely draw like a field spell and then equip or get like the two other ABC monsters directly to the field, thanks to the field spell, to make ABC Dragon Buster live. And having ABC Dragon Buster on the field against an older deck, especially like Infernity, definitely, you know, feels like kind of like a power creep card, if that makes sense. So this time Infernity is going second, and okay, my opening hand is quite decent, I guess. Opening the double normal summon is not really that great at all, although Foolish Burial could send the Street Patrol from my deck to the graveyard, but again, I opt since, again, the opponent has like one or two back rows, or what was it, only one back row, the Maxi as well, and the Dragon Buster. So I think we knew about the two interruptions being the ABC Dragon Buster and one set. You know, that could be Dimensional Barrier. Not really sure if the deck runs Strike. So anyway, Xyz is cute, but it's not going to do anything. Probably should have not activated the second Xyz effect, or you know, Xyz effect for the second time. But in the long run, it's not going to matter. The problem here is playtesting, or well, playing against against ABCs. The problem is that as soon as they get their three different monsters in the graveyard, it feels that a deck like Infernity, basically the older deck from 2014, it just struggles to, you know, get it. It's perfectly assembled here, but the deck is just struggling against something like that. By the time that ABCs does get the three monsters in the graveyard, it's just so hard to, you know, like prevent the ABC Dragon Buster from coming out, and even if it's on the field, getting rid of it, since again it can dodge stuff, tag out for, and that's a problem. Like 3 new monsters with the field spell, another equip that could lead to another search, another equip, or another special summon during their turn. So that's definitely a problem, especially for you know, for like Infernities. But this is definitely my duel. Yeah, still sitting at 9k, I guess. This probably would not have been game Might have been, but probably not. But again, I definitely would have had like Barrier. Yeah, indeed, Barrier was still set. And I think 2 or 3 Infernity Break searches. And a lot of damage would have gotten in, so that definitely would be my duel. Especially seeing that horrible hand. So, next game, game number 4, and my opening hand. Like, what's this? Ah, so terrible. And, okay, yeah, the instant fusion going through, I was like, well, yeah, there is going to be like a Solemn Strike. Dimensional Barrier would not make much sense. Again, Xyz has the ability to already activate the effect, right? Or, you know, chain it right against a pre-activated Dimensional Barrier, but in the long run again feels quite redundant this game as well. It's just, if ABC if they're allowed to start, if they have access to, you know, their powerhouses, the field spell, the gold or silver gadget, to immediately get, or at least go for the rank 4 Xyz play, more notably meaning the maybe the Bujin Tsukuyomi to get the extra draws, but most importantly set up A, B and C in the graveyard to go for ABC Dragon Buster, then that's super hard for Infernalities to get rid of it. So game number 5, I have the advantage, I get to start, and this is a decent opening hand. Couple of searches, the Mystical Space Typhoon being set is definitely good to prevent the field spell from resolving, the ABC field spell from resolving, so that's always good. I think I was able to search out the Barrier and the Break, so the opponent knows that, of course, activating Dark Hole, and, well, I'm forced to use my Barrier, and indeed, worst case scenario, there would be like a follow-up of the big spell and trap destruction, as we have seen in the past. Again, that well-timed Twin Twister or Heavy Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster. It's like, it turns the tides, and it's not here in my advantage. And the problem, a couple of beat sticks here, though sacrificing the Trick Clown, but in the long run it's fine, I guess, especially with the ABC Dragon Buster still on the field, being able to tag out and banish something. The Soul Charge though is a huge top deck, so definitely paying 4k of my life points, and I was like, well, here is something that, well, what I mentioned a couple of moments ago, is where Infernalities struggle with their extra deck. I mean, their main deck is very solid, being able to search out multiple disruptions and interruptions and negation cards, but the problem is their extra deck, and they do lack like a lot of power cards, and okay, they have like double Xyz. Dweller is of course fine, but again, I wasn't able to attack due to Soul Charge, but the problem is like big beat sticks, things that threaten your opponents. Castell is fine, but you know, the deck is missing something, and that's the problem of Infernalities. And as soon as if the opponent is able to get rid of my field, Infernalities, they just can't come back. I think I already burned through a lot of my fuel here, and instant fusion for Northern, that's sadly not the case for 2014 Infernalities, and this is game. There's, yeah, again, no reason to play it through, right? There was always the ability for ABC Dragon Buster to tag out and again have like 3 extra level 4 monsters on the field, which leads to more Xyz, and I think I was very low on life points, so a potential Utopia the Lightning definitely could have sealed the deal right there. So again, in the long run, I do feel that even though Infernalities, Xyz Infernalities from 2014 is quite of a strong deck, the main deck engine is plays quite fluently, and of course having access to Lavalval Chain or multiple Lavalval Chain is definitely the strength of the deck, but at the same time, well, the same like moment, the problem lies definitely in their extra deck. It feels like ABCs both pretty much do the same thing, pump out a couple of Xyz, but you know, like ABC Dragon Buster is ridiculous, and ABC just have access to much stronger extra deck monsters as well. So yeah, I think we have a well-deserved winner here. So ABC is moving on to the top 4, so still one deck, at least one matchup remaining here in the top 4, but the next match will be here on the left side, the losers bracket. So both these decks already lost one match, but if they lose another one, they'll pretty much be out in a tournament, and that's Dragon Rulers from 2013 versus Necros. So yeah, pretty much 2 very, very big names in the Cross-Banlist Cup are paired up against each other. So the deck that loses this one will be out of the tournament. The deck that wins that one will face off, indeed, blood in their next matchup. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.